The Apple Watch is now 10 years old, and when it first came out, nobody knew what it would be. An accessory? A fitness tracker? Or just a smartwatch? This year I did not only ask myself if the Series 10 is worth it and for who, I asked myself what the Apple Watch can do after 10 years and what it still can't. The design is still very similar to the first Apple Watch. A rounded rectangle that has become more and more rounded from generation to generation. The Series 10 is also thinner, it's about 1 millimeter. This is something I expected to feel more than I did in everyday life. I don't think that you can tell whether someone is wearing a Series 9 or 10, unless they have one of the new colors. In addition to silver and rose gold, there is now a black polished version. The display glass melts nicely into the case. Stainless steel is no longer an option, it has been replaced by polished titanium. This is 20% or 10 grams lighter and more scratch resistant. That's a very good thing. It is available in silver, silver, silver and gold. They all look very premium. By far the best thing about the design is that Apple hasn't changed the connectors since 10 years. So you can use every single band that ever came out in every size and color, and that's fantastic. There are two sizes again. The large one now has a 3% larger display than the Apple Watch Ultra, however I'm wearing the small version here. Both are a maximum of 2000 nits bright and you can always read them very well thanks to improved viewing angles, even on the always on display a little bit better from the side this year. The display now also updates every second, so you can see the second hand. The bezels of the Series 9 were a bit thinner compared to the Series 10 because the glass is now a bit larger. This didn't bother me because you usually can't tell where the display ends anyway. What bothers me, however, is that the digital crown is so far up that it rubs against my wrist bone. It is uncomfortable when hair gets caught. That's probably why every other watch has the crown in the middle. But I do like how the vibration motor clicks when you turn the crown or how it wobbles when a message arrives. No other smartwatch feels as good. The back of the Apple Watch is no longer made out of glass, only where the sensors are. The rest is made out of metal. You could think that this is just a visual thing, but actually when I was in the sauna, I realized that the watch translates the heat into your body so it stays nice and cool. That's a very smart thing and others should copy it. Well, time to talk about the software. It's watchOS 11 and I do love some stuff about it and I hate other stuff about it. This is the most comprehensive smartwatch operating system ever. There are over 40 watch faces and you can customize every single one of them in detail. All of them have lovely animations. There are over 40 pre-installed apps and the App Store has thousands more. When a message arrives, the watch vibrates and you can reply to it immediately. There is music control. You can pay with it, get directions and even view photos on it. The watch now can detect water pressure and temperature up to a depth of 7 meters and is waterproof enough to swim with it. The fitness features are numerous. Having many features is usually a good thing, but it's not so much when you have a tiny screen. I don't want to write a whole email on this thing. My smartphone is always just a reach away. And then there is the so-called smart stack below the watch face. And it shows you the time and date very large, although you have at least seen one of them on the watch face, so that's not so smart. And then there is a random sequence of widgets, mostly weather, activities and the Photos app. Somehow not very helpful and not very smart either. This means most users either have to search through the whole app library or have to cram as many features as possible onto the watch face, which destroys the aesthetics of it. And the new Vital app is also one of those things. It has a huge potential. Resting heart rate, blood oxygen saturation and temperature differences are measured and there are alerts if something is unusual. I do think that this is a good idea, but where is the heart rate variability? It is just missing and it's the most important value to track whether your body is recovered, if it's stressed, if it's getting ill. All of the other manufacturers consider this value and Apple just skips on it. And then there is the percentage points. You can have 32% more training than you had the week before. Okay, so what? Is that a lot? Is that too little? Should I do more? Should I do less? The Apple Watch won't tell. Same goes for the pulse. It is measured every few minutes. sometimes 4, then 8. I even saw 20 minutes. As a result, valuable data is lost. Only during a workout does the Apple Watch count the pulse continuously. The competition is simply further ahead. The Pixel Watch measures every single second and more accurately. It's like having a live stream of your heart rate on the always-on display. Why can't the Apple Watch do this after 10 years of developing it? I don't get it. And what exactly is wrong with Zone 2 training? Zone 2 training is very important to athletes, and it starts at 140 beats per minute on the Apple Watch. This is wrong. It starts at 100 usually. 140, that's more like Zone 3, almost Zone 4. So yeah, you can change it manually, but why is it wrong to begin with? And then there's sleep tracking. The phases are very accurate, but I don't get any further information. Did my resting heart rate drop late? How long did it take me to fall asleep? What could be the reason that I did not get enough REM sleep? What's really good though, the Apple Watch can now detect sleep apnea. It's measured for 30 days every single night, and it can detect if you had breathing interruptions. Many people do have sleep apnea without knowing it, and this update also comes to Series 9 and Apple Watch Ultra 2. But that's also because the S10 processor in the Series 10 is simply an S9 processor with modified connectors to make it a bit slimmer. I did like the performance and the speed of the watch. I think it's the fastest smartwatch out there. But what about efficiency? In 10 years it continued to improve, but in small steps. The 42mm version still had 45% when I went to bed, and it used 10 to 15% at night. The next morning I charged it while showering, and it could charge 30 minutes to 80%, which is very fast and always was enough for a full day. The 46mm version can last 20% longer, so you can get through 2 days with that. The Ultra can even last an extra day. That's all very good, but no difference to other smartwatches, and I somehow was hoping for a week of battery life after 10 years of development. Conclusion: the Apple Watch Series 10 tries to be new and fresh, but in day-to-day use it felt like every other Apple Watch before it. And that's maybe not a bad thing, because the Apple Watch was good to begin with. But now it's 1mm slimmer and a bit rounder. This won't change a lot for the consumers, and the prices stayed the same, and they are still quite high. I have the feeling that the Apple Watch was the best smartwatch at some point, but then it just stopped improving in some areas, and now the competition has better heart rate tracking, better fitness features, better battery life, and it's kind of a shame. But because you can't really connect any other smartwatch to an iPhone, this still is the best smartwatch for your iPhone. So there you go.